Hello everyone, welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. So in this video I am explaining OpenGL two-dimensional weaving functions. So these weaving functions are supported by OpenGL. So if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. To get the notification of my new videos, please click the bell icon. So let me begin the explanation of OpenGL two-dimensional weaving functions. So before understanding the weaving functions, two-dimensional weaving functions of OpenGL, you need to know some of the concepts. So first thing is, so you can see here in a computer graphics, the scene is a set of geometrical objects. So you can see here my scene contains geometrical objects like triangle, circle and square. Here if you want to display the scene in the screen, the first thing you need is a clipping window. So clipping window is used to display the objects of a scene. So any object that is outside the clipping window will not be displayed. So you can see here I am displaying only the circle here. That means I am projecting the circle to my screen. Only I am projecting the circle to my screen. That because the circle is inside the clipping window. The circle is inside the clipping window. These two remaining objects are not projected to the display window. That means I am not considering these two objects, triangle and square, because these triangle and square are outside the clipping window. The contents only that is inside the clipping window will be displayed. That means you have to project the object that needs to be displayed, right? You have to project that needs the object that needs to be displayed should be within the clipping window. Here these two objects are not within the clipping window, that's why they are not displayed. Only the circle is inside the clipping window. So you should understand that whatever the object that needs to be displayed should be inside the clipping window. Any object that is outside the clipping window will be discarded. Now next thing, you can see here I already told you have to project the object to the screen. That means whatever the object that needs to be projected, that should be inside the clipping window. Here you can see that in the previous case I projected only the circle, but here you can see here I increased the size of the clipping window. Here the clipping window size was small, here the clipping window size has increased. So when I increase the clipping window size, I can accommodate, I can project all the three graphical objects. You can see here all the three graphical objects are projected into the screen. Why means why it is possible means the all the objects are inside the clipping window. How it is inside the clipping window means I increased the size of the clipping window. If you adjust the size of the clipping window, you can project, right? You can project the objects. Here the clipping window is small, but here the clipping window is large. So thereby I can project all the graphical objects in a clipping window. Getting, guys? So you can project any object, or you can project the complete scene also in a clipping window. But the thing is that object should be inside the clipping window to be displayed. Here one more important thing, you can see here the projection is orthogonal. Orthographic projection it is. I am projecting the contents that needs to be displayed in the window is orthogonal, because this, you can see here the projection line is perpendicular to the screen. The projection line what I am using to project my object is perpendicular to the screen. That's why I can call this projection as orthogonal projection, right? Now you can see here, so in a computer graphics, right? So you can see I am using a orthogonal projection here. This is my display window. You can see here this is my display window, and each display window will have a name, so you can give any name for the display window. But here you can see, in this display window only the objects are displayed here, but for your reference, right, I used a clipping window and also the viewport. Now you can ask a question, then what is a clipping window and what is a viewport? Clipping window, right, selects what to be displayed. That means here we have 4 objects, but in the clipping window I'm selecting only the 2 objects to be displayed. You can see, so clipping window always tells what to be displayed. You need to select what to be displayed on the screen, but viewport tells what where to be displayed. That means in the clipping window you can display your content in the right side or a left side or a bottom or a top, right? But you have to decide where to display the content. So here my content is displayed at the center. So clipping window tells what to be displayed, but viewport tells where to be displayed. Here my contents are displayed at the center. And one more important thing, in a clipping window I can include multiple viewports. Here in this clipping window I have only one viewport. Sometimes I will assume that viewport and clipping window size is same. Here I am not assuming like that. So here my viewport is smaller than the clipping window, but sometimes you can assume that the size of the viewport and the size of the clipping window is a same. And what I told, clipping window can be accommodated with multiple viewports. You can see here, this is the clipping window. Here I am using 3 viewports, different viewports. In this first viewport I am displaying the circle. In the second viewport I am displaying the triangle. In the third viewport I am displaying both the objects. What I am trying to say is, so whatever the content that needs to be displayed should be within the clipping window, but you can display that object in different places. You can select multiple viewports to display each object, right? You can see here, so my object is at the center, viewport is at the center. You can position your viewport at the left side, right side, at whatever the position you want. Here also, right, I can use separate viewport for displaying separate objects, right? To show the different faces of the objects, you can use different viewports. Getting, guys? So the first thing, the display window will be there. Within the display window I will display the object. To display the object I need a clipping window and a viewport. Clipping window tells what to be displayed. You can see here I am displaying these 2 objects, and the viewport tells where to be displayed. You can display whichever place you want inside the clipping window. The object needs to be inside the clipping window to be displayed, right? So now I will move to the functions, actual functions, weaving functions that are used to display your object in the display window, right? See, so the GLU library provides the functions for specifying 2-dimensional clipping window. I told you, whatever the object that needs to be displayed, that should be inside the clipping window. You can see here, so this circle is inside the clipping window. How you are going to display that clipping window means, before displaying the clipping window or before using the clipping window, you need to know what is the projection. I told you, projection means you are going to see here, so whatever the contents that needs to be displayed, right, will be, for example, the scene contains the models. Here my scene is nothing but a set of geometrical objects. You can see here earlier the geometrical objects will be in the modeling coordinates, and all the coordinates will be in the matrix form only. Remember this, very important. Here the modeling coordinates will be converted into world coordinates, and all the contents of the world coordinates also in the matrix form only. Then the world coordinates is projected. That means the contents needs to be in the projection matrix first. So projection matrix, the contents of the projection matrix are the contents of the images that needs to be projected in the display or the viewport, right? So whatever the contents you see in the display window, whatever the contents you see in the viewports are projected from the projection matrix. Just remember that, right? Your contents that needs to be projected to the viewport, right, will be stored in the projection matrix. The contents of the projection matrix will be projected to the display or the viewport, right? So your informations will be stored in the matrix form here. Getting, guys? So before setting a clipping window, you need to set the projection mode first, right? To set the projection mode, here you can see here I'm using a command GL matrix mode, GL projection, right? Why I am using this? I am telling the OpenGL that my contents are in the projection matrix. Take that contents in the projection matrix and project them into the viewport. See, my contents are in the projection matrix, and I am telling the OpenGL to project my contents into the viewport. That means inside the clipping window. You know that. Getting, guys? So how I can do that means by using this command GL matrix mode, GL projection, and after that, after displaying the contents of the projection matrix, I can use a GL load identity. Why I have to use this GL load identity command means this ensures that each time we enter the projection mode, right, the matrix will be reset to the identity matrix, so that new parameters are not combined with the previous ones, because here projection matrix can contain different images. Here I am displaying only one image, right? Only I am projecting one image, but right, but it's not a case every time. So your projection matrix may contain different images. So chances are there the contents of the different images may be overlapped in the viewport or in the clipping window. So to avoid that, I need to set the load identity matrix to 1 always. So it will every time it will display the contents properly. The old contents are not at all overlapped with the new contents. That's why I have to use load identity. Getting, guys? To display the image in the display window, first what I have to do, I have to set the projection mode. Once the projection mode is set, once the projection mode is set, then I can set the display window, I can set the viewport. Getting, guys? Now projection mode is completed. I set the matrix properly. Now I can use a function to set the clipping window. This clipping window. See what is the function that is used to set the clipping window is GL ortho 2D, that is 2-dimensional clipping window I am setting here. So here, so XW min, XW max, YW min, YW max I am using here, right? So you can see here, see, so this is the clipping window. You can see XW min, YW min, XW max, YW max. These 4 parameters I need to use to set the clipping window. So whatever the object that needs to be displayed, that should be with inside the clipping window, right? If your object is outside the clipping window, then these objects won't be displayed. Here these objects are not at all displayed because these objects are not projected. These objects are outside the clipping window. That's why. Getting, guys? So here you can ask one question here, why it is ortho? Because I told you here my projection rays are perpendicular to my screen. You can see the projection rays are perpendicular to my screen, that is orthogonal. My projection rays are orthogonal to my screen, perpendicular to my screen. That's why I am using GL ortho 2D. So these are the 4 parameters mainly used to set the clipping window, right? You have seen that, right? See, these 4 parameters I am using here. Getting? Now, so you know that objects outside the window or the objects outside the clipping window will be eliminated from the scene. You know that. And one more important thing here, if we do not specify a clipping window size, so here if you do not specify any size, by default what is the size of these coordinates? 4 coordinates means, you can see XW min, YW min will be minus 1.0, minus 1.0, and XW max and YW max will be 1.0 and 1.0. This is the default size of a clipping window. If you want to specify the size, this is the default size. Getting, guys? Now you know that to display the image, first I have to project the image. I have to set the projection matrix, then I have to set the clipping window using GLOrtho 2D. Next, what you have to do means you have to set a viewport function. I told you sometimes clipping window and viewport will be same, the size will be same, but in my case, see, the viewport is inside the clipping window. You can adjust that. I've shown you that, right? So inside the clipping window you can have multiple viewports. So how to do that? How to set a viewport within the clipping window, right? So this is for the reference. So here when you are displaying the image, these parameters won't be displayed here. Only these parameters are used to adjust the size of the image. You can see these parameters for the reference. See, now how to set the viewport. For setting the viewport also, there is a command you can see here XV min, YV min, VP width and VP height. So these are the parameters to use to set the viewport. You can see this is the clipping window. Within the clipping window there is a viewport. You can see this. Within the clipping window there is a viewport. Right, now see. So what are the parameters of the viewport? You can see XW min, sorry, XV min. XW min means this window, clipping window parameters. XV min means it is a clipping, it is a viewing port parameter. XV min, YV min. Here VP height, VP width. It specify height of a viewport and the width of a viewport. Getting, guys? So W means window, V means viewport. So in the same way as clipping window, I can set a viewport also using these 4 parameters. Sometimes so the size of the clipping window and the size of the viewport will be same. You can consider like that also. Right? Getting, right? Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. So I set the viewport. Getting, guys? So to display the image, what you need? Display window you need. Within that display window I need clipping window and a viewport. Now you can see here XW min. You can see here you can see it clearly, right? So this is the clipping window and this is the viewport, right? And one more important thing here, XV min and YV min specify the position of the lower left corner of the viewport relative to the lower left corner of the display window, right? You can see, right, see here. So here this is the lower left corner of the window and this is the lower left corner of the viewport, right? So XV min, so XV min and YV min specify this corners, lower left corners, right? And VP width and VP height are pixel width and height of the viewport. I told you already, height, VP height is the height of the viewport and VP width is the width of the viewport. And one more important thing, instead of VP height, instead of VP width, if you want to represent height and width in the form of XV max and YV max, here you can see XV min, YV min. Instead of VP height I can use XV max and YV max. How you can do that means there is a formula. You can use XV max by using a formula, XV min plus up width, YV max is equal to YV min plus up height. You can see YV min plus height. If you add these two, you will get YV max. So this is the formula. Instead of VP height and VP width, you can use XV max and YV max. The formula for XV max is XV min plus VP width, that is viewport width. YV max is equal to YV min plus VP height, that is viewport height. Getting, guys? So you set at the projection, you set at the display clipping window, now you set at the viewport. Then you can display your image, you can project your image. Now I already told you multiple viewports can be created in a OpenGL for variety of application. I showed you here, right? So multiple viewports can be created within the clipping window. Here I created a 3 viewports: viewport 1, viewport 2, viewport 3, right? Now, so wait. So see here. So multiple viewports been created in OpenGL, but we can obtain the parameters for the currently active viewport using the query function. For example, I have a 3 viewports, but which viewport I am currently using? Maybe I am using a first viewport. How to know that? Means you can use a command, right? GL get integer view. You can use this command to get the active viewport number, right? So all the viewport numbers, every viewport will have a number, right? All the numbers of the viewport will be stored in an array called VP array. In that array only I am going to get this number of a particular viewport. So this VP array is a single subscript 4 element array. This is a 4 element array. So in this array I am going to store the numbers of particular viewport, and if you want to know the number of a current viewport or any viewport, you can use this command, right? Now I told you. So first what I need a display window. See, I need a display window. Then within the display window I need a clipping window. Within that clipping window I need a viewport. See, this is the display window, and display window will have a name. So within that window I am going to display my image. To display that image I need a clipping window and a viewport. But here in this I am not shown that, because you are not going to see in that, because clipping window and the viewport parameters, right? They are mathematical parameters. You have to use them, and you have to display the image. So how to create this display window? You know how to create clipping window using GLOrtho, how to create viewport using GL viewport, but how to create this display window? So see, so to create a display window, first what you have to do means you have to initialize glut first. You have to initialize glut using a command glut init, right? argc argv ampersand of argc comma argv. This command is used to initialize your glut. First, to create a display window, this is the first thing you have to do. You have to initialize your glut. Now to create a display window, we have 3 functions here. First function is we have to set the window position. First we have to set the window position. So to set the window position, the command is glut init window position. Here you can see here top left or top x top left or y top left. You can use this command to set the window position, right? So here what is that x top left or y top left means? Gives the integer screen coordinate position for the top left corner of the display window related to the top left corner of the screen. So you can set your window position anywhere you want using this command glut init window position. Now after setting the window position, you have to set the size of the window, right? Using because that is very important. You have to set the window size. So how to set the window size means, that is a command glut init window size. Here for every window there will be a width, and for every window there is a height. You have seen that. See, so for this window I have a height and I have a width. You have to specify the size of the window. Getting, guys? Right? So this is the command to set the size of the window. And you can see here, if you don't use this for example, if I don't use any width value and any height value, by default my window will be 300 by 300 width and 300 height. And position, if you don't use any position value, by default the position of the window will be -1 comma -1. Getting, guys? Now, so now you set at the window position, you set at the window size. Now you actually have to create that window. Now to create that window, the command is glut create window, and the title, I told you here, the title of the window, that is window name, you have to give that as a parameter for creating the window. See, So let create window, the window name what should be displayed, that should be given here, right? So this command is going to create the display window with the specified size and the specified position, and also assign a title and also assign a window name for a particular display window. Getting, guys? So we project, first we set the projection parameters using a projection matrix, then we set the clipping window, then we set the viewport, then we set the display window to display my image using the clipping window on the viewport, right? Now here I am going to explain the functions for setting the GLUT display window mode and the color. Now what is that? See here, so various display window parameters are selected with the GLUT function. So here my image needs to be displayed, right? The mode, what is the mode means? Here we have RGB mode and index mode. RGB mode means whatever the color you are going to use to display your image will be the mixture of any of these three colors, that is red, green and blue. Here, so what display mode, what coloring scheme you have to use for displaying your image can be used, right? So will be setted using the GLUT init display mode. You can see here we can use this function to choose a color mode. I can use either a RGB color mode or index color mode. So most of the time here, right, I'm using a RGB color mode here. RGB color mode means my color is a mixture of any of these three colors. For example, if you want to get a red color, you can use 100. If you want to use a green color, 010. If you want to use a blue color, you can use 001, like that. If you want any color, for example, red and green will give yellow color. Mixture of red and green is going to give a yellow color. Like this, any color can be obtained by using the mixture of these three colors. So here you have to specify that what coloring mode you have to use. So for that you have to use this command, GLUT init display mode command. So RGB coloring mode you can specify, or index coloring mode you can specify, right? So the RGB coloring scheme and index coloring scheme I'm going to explain that in more detail in the coming videos. Now next, so GLUT init display mode, you can see here. Here the color mode specification is GLUT RGB, that I am using a RGB coloring scheme here, and along with that I am using a buffer here. Very important, in OpenGL I am going to use two types of buffer, single buffer and a double buffer, right? Here what type of buffer I am using means single buffer, right? Only single side I am going to store the contents. Double buffer means both the sides I can store the contents. So here you can see the color scheme is RGB, and the what type of buffer I am using means single buffer. So in OpenGL two types of buffers are there, single buffer and a double sided buffers are there, but here I am using a single buffer. And along with that you have a command GL clear color. This is mainly used to set the background color for the display window. So you can set the color for the display window, background color for the display window, any color you can set. So in our example, see, so display window color is what? White only. You can give the color for the display window, any color for the display window using a command, that is GL clear color. So if you want to give red color for the background window, the command will be like this, 100 alpha. It specifies about transparency. I will explain that in the coming videos. Alpha is a transparency factor actually. So if you want to green color, background color for the display window, 010, like that. So you can specify the background color for the display window using a GL clear color. And one more important thing, GL clear index. Why we use this function? This function sets the display window color using the color index mode, where parameter index is assigned an integer value to a position within the color table. So for particular color you have to use an index, right? So many colors will be there. To how to identify that color means you can identify the color using an index. So display window color can be set using the color index. So index is nothing but address, like is nothing but a address. So in a color table there will be so many colors will be there. So within that I have to identify my background color, right? That's why I need to use a index. Getting, guys? So if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Next, so glut display window identifier. Why I have to use this means when you have multiple display windows. Here in our example, so how many window I am using? Only one display window. You can see only one display window. So every time it's not a case. So we can it is possible to use multiple display windows. So if it is the case, right? So if you are using a multiple display windows, right? So you have to identify different display windows, right? So how I can do that means you can use a command window id is equal to glut create window. This command is used to identify the different windows. Suppose if you have 3 windows, first window will have id 1, second window will have id 2, third window will have a display window will have id 3. Suppose if you want to identify the first window, what is the value you have to give in the window id 1. Suppose if you want to identify the second window, you have to give the id 2. Suppose we have to identify the third window, you have to give the id as 3. So within the multiple display windows are there, you can use this command to identify the particular window. Right, guys? Now if you want to delete any display window, suppose if you want to delete your display window, you can use a command glut destroy window. So you can give a window id. It will take the window id as a reference and it will delete that window. In our case there is only one window, right? I can give window id as 1, it will delete that window. If there is multiple window also, no problem, you can give that particular window id, then it will be destroyed. Right, guys? And one more important thing here, another command is there, current glut display window. For example, consider that I have three windows. I have to set the first window as my current window. How you can do that means you can set that using a command glut set window. Here it is going to, and window id you can use. For example, if you want to set your second window as a current window, then you can give window id as 2. For first window you can give window id as 1. For third window you can give window id as 3. So it is going to set that particular window as your current window. So what is the command? Glut set window is the command. Getting, guys? And one more command is there. We can query the system to determine which window is the current window. Suppose if you want to know which is my current window, so you can use a command current window id is equal to glut window. This will give the current window what you are using. Suppose if you are using a first window as the current window, this current window id will return the right value of that current window. This is the current this is the command for this current window id, right? So see here, a value of 0 is returned by this function if there are no display windows. Obviously there is no display window means the value 0 will be returned. Suppose if one window is there, the value 1 will be returned. Getting, guys? If no window is there, the value 0 is returned. Right? So next, so if you want to resize your display window, or if you want to change the position of your display window, it is also possible in OpenGL. So how we can do that? See here, we can reset the screen location of the current display window with a function. That means I want to change the position of my screen window. I want to change the position of my display window. How I can do that? So using a command glut position window. Here you can give a new values. Top left, new top left, right? X new top left, Y new top left. Here if you want to change the size, if you want to change the position of your window, you can use this command. Based on that value it will be changed. Whatever the value you give here for these parameters, based on that the position of the window will be changed. Here glut position window is mainly used to change the position of your window, display window. Now similarly, to resize, to increase the size of your window or to decrease the size of your window, what you can use means the command glut reshape window. You can increase the size or you can decrease the size. See, you can increase the width or you can decrease the width, or you can increase the height or you can decrease the height using the command glut reshape function. It is going to resize your window. It is going to change the size of your window. It may increase the size or it may decrease the size. So this is the command. See, suppose if you want to increase the window size to full screen, if you want to make your window as a full screen window, you can use F command glut full screen. It will expand the current display window to full screen, to fill the screen. So this is the command glut full screen. And one more important thing, whenever the size of the display window is changed, right? So if you change the size of the display window, its aspect ratio may change, right? Here, when you resize the window, your object may be distorted, because when you increase the size, your object may be, quality of the object may be decreased. So the quality of the object may be changed. That's why we can adjust the for example, when you change the display window, you need to reshape your objects also. You need to reshape your objects to display properly. For that purpose, you can use for that purpose, to adjust for the change in the display window dimensions, you can use a command glut reshape function. See, this function is used to adjust your object shape with respect to the changed window size. So glut reshape function is used. Getting, guys? So if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. So next, so managing multiple glut display windows. So here, see here, these functions here mainly used for glut library as a number of routines. Here, for example, if I want to convert my display window as an icon means you've seen that you can click on the icon. Icon will be in the form of images or a small picture. Suppose if you want to convert your window, glut display window, into a image format, you can use a command glut iconify window. It will be like icon. Just you can click on that window will be opened. So it will be like an image. So you can use glut iconify window command to convert your display window into the icon format or a small picture format. Getting, guys? And if you want to set for the icon, if you want to label that icon, right, you can use the command. See, glut set icon title. You can give a name for that icon. This is the command to set the icon name for that particular window will be, right, that window is in the icon format. Right now you can set the title for that icon that is in the window that is in the icon format. You can set the icon title for that. This is the command. Getting, guys? Next, so if you want to change the name of the display window, suppose if you want to give the new name for your display window, if you want to change the name of your display window, you can use a command glut set window title new window name. You can give the new window name, thereby the name of the display window will be changed. This is the command glut set window title. Getting, guys? Now next, we can choose any display window to be in front. For example, if there are 3 windows, you can move 2 windows to the background and you can move 1 window to the front side. You can do that. How you can do that? You can see here. So other windows, see here, we can move display window to be in front of all the other windows by first designating it as the current window and then issuing the pop window command. So for example, in 3 windows, I need to make a first window to be appeared in front and second and third window to be moved into the background. What I can do means I can set the window here. What window ID I can give here 1. I will give 1. My window ID as 1 because I need my first window to be in front and remaining 2 windows to be in the background. So I will give window ID as 1. First I will set that window ID as 1, then I can use a pop window to pop the remaining 2 windows. So these are the commands for doing that. Glut set window and glut pop window. Getting, guys? Next, see, in a similar way, we can push the current display window to the back so that it is behind all other display window. For example, if you want to display current display window to the back, for example, if you want to move a window 1 to the back, now I want 2 and 3 in front, I want 1 to be moved back. So how you can do that? See, you can push that window to the back side, 1 to the back side. Glut set window, again you have to set that window that is to be moved back side. Now what window I have to move back side? One window 1. So I will set window ID as 1, and I will use glut push window button. I will use glut window push button. So I will push my window 1 to the back side. Getting, guys? Now suppose if you want to hide my window, my current window, if you want to hide that window, you don't want the window to be seen, you have to hide that window off the screen. So you can use a command to hide the window. Any window you can hide using a glut hide window command. Getting, guys? Suppose if you want to again if you want to change the setting of that window, you want to see that window, you have to remove that hidden feature. How you can do that means you can use glut show window. It will show the window. The hidden window will be shown in the front. So you can hide the window. You can using glut hide window, and you can remove that hidden thing using a glut show window. You can see that hidden window using a glut show window command. Getting, guys? Now sub windows. So sub windows means you can create windows within a window. You can create windows within a window. Sub windows. For example, think that my main window is 1. 1.1 is my sub window, 1.2 is my sub window, 1.3 is sub window. Like that, we can create nested windows within the windows. So how you can do that? You can create a nested windows within a window using a command glut create sub window. You can see here window ID you have to give for a sub window. Main window ID will be different, sub window ID will be different. You can see. So you can give a window ID for a sub window, and you can specify the 4 sides. For example, bottom left, x bottom left, y bottom left, width of the window, sub window, height of the sub window. In this way you can create a sub window. Remember one thing, sub window ID is different, original window ID is different, because sub window is a window within the main window. That's why window ID of a sub window is different, window ID of a main window is different. Getting, guys? Now you can see parameter window ID identify the display window in which we want to set up the sub window, obviously. So main window will be 1. 1.1 is a sub window, like that. You can create the sub windows within a window. Next, one more important thing. In the same way as the main window, here also sub window will be assigned the integer value, integer identifier. Right? We can place a sub window inside another sub window also. That is also possible. You can create any number of windows within the windows. Nested windows are possible. Here also for sub window also the integer identifier is used, and the main window also the integer identifier is used. And one more important thing, how you going to assign the display mode for the main window, right? In the same way, for a sub window also you can assign a display mode, that is RGB mode, or those modes can be assigned for sub windows also. In the same way as main window, you can reposition the sub window, you can reshape the sub window, you can pop it, you can push it, you can edit, you can show it whatever the operations you are going to use for the main window, all those operations can be used for the sub windows also. Getting, guys? Next, so see, suppose if you want to use different cursor shapes, you can see here my cursor shape is arrow mark here. See, my cursor shape is what? Arrow mark here. So OpenGL supports different cursor shape, can write different cursor shapes. So different cursor shapes can be given in OpenGL. So see, so to give the different shape, what is the first command you have to use? Mean you should use this glut set cursor command first, right? So you should use glut set cursor command. So within that you can use different shape for the cursor. So here you can see here my cursor is in the arrow mark, but you can change the shape of the cursor. So to do that you can use glut set cursor. So what is the parameter for the glut set cursor? Shape is the command parameter for that cursor command. So see, shape can be of different types. So glut cursor up down, this shape will be up down arrow. So glut cursor cycle, so obviously rotating arrow will be there. So glut cursor weight, the wristwatch shape will be displayed. If it's a shape is a glut cursor weight. If it is a cycle, rotating arrow. If it is a cursor up down, it is up down arrow, same arrow. So if it is a glut cursor destroy, it is a danger symbol. It is a skull with a crossbones. So in this way you can set different shape for your cursor. So to do that, it is a command. This is the command glut set cursor. So shape is a parameter, and this shape can be of different types. Getting, guys? So you can set different cursor shape in OpenGL. Next, suppose if you want to view the objects in a display window, for example, see, if you want to view these objects in a display window, yes, you know that clipping window will be there, viewport will be there, but how to view that object in the clipping window or a viewport? So for that there is a command. See here, see, so the command is glut display function. The parameter is picture description. For example, if you want to display cube, the picture description will be cube. If you want to display a circle, the picture description will be circle. For that you have to first to display your circle or to display your image, that image needs to be created first, then only you can display that image using a display function. Remember, first to display your image needs to be created, then only you can display your image that is created using a display function. Sometimes this display function is also called as callback function. So you can display your image anytime, any number of times you want. For example, if you want to display your cube for 3 times, you can call this display function 3 times. Getting, guys? So to display your image in the display window, the image needs to be created first. You can, once the image is created, you can display that image any number of times using this function, because that's why it is called as callback function. Also, you can call back your image any number of times you want. Getting, guys? You can call back your image when your size is changed, when you can call back your image when the window is renewed. Getting, guys? You can call back your image once it is created as many times as you want using this glut display function. Getting? So your image needs to be created first to be displayed. Right? Now, next. So we may need to call glut display function after the pop window command. For example, pop window, what it will do? It will move the window in the backwards, right? Background, right? So suppose now display function, you need to use the display function one more time to move that pop window command. To move that window into the front side, you can use this glut display function. Or if your window is damaged, while displaying. If your window is damaged, if you want to call the window once again, you can use this glut display function, because your window is damaged, right? Now you can again the damaged window can be corrected using this display function. Your damaged window can be corrected using this display function, because you can call your window one more time using this display function. Now lastly, you have to use this follow function. That is for example, on one more important thing, suppose if you want to repost your image, you have to display your image one more time. You can use glut post redisplay. You have to redisplay your image one more time. Suppose if it is damaged, your image is damaged initially. Now the damaged image is corrected. Now you have to redisplay it. So how you can do that means you can use it using a command glut post redisplay. Getting, guys? Next, lastly, you should use glut main loop command. Why you have to use this? For example, glut main loop is an infinite loop. Explicitly you have to explicitly you have to close this. Glut main loop has to be closed explicitly. This loop will wait continuously for the input from the user. This is very important for the program to execute properly. You have to include this glut main loop. What it will do means it will continuously wait for the input from the user. It is an infinite loop. You have to explicitly close this loop. Continuously it will wait for the input from the user. Continuously it waits for the images from the user. If the images are there, it will take that and it will display it. If you want to close this, you have to explicitly close this. Automatically it can't be closed. It is an infinite loop. You have to explicitly close this. So this is the final glut command you have to use to display your image. It starts the execution of the program. It takes the image. It will display it. Again it will wait for the another image. It will display it. Again it will wait for the another image. It will display it like that. It keeps on waiting for the image from the, that means it keeps on waiting for the input from the user. If you don't want this, you should explicitly close this main loop. Getting, guys? So suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. So lastly, I'm going to explain some other glut functions. So see here, so this first function is a glut idle function here. So why we use this idle function means sometimes it is convenient to designate a function that is used to execute it with no other events. Suppose for your program there are no events to be displayed. So at that time you can use a glut idle function. When the event comes, you can display it. But when there are no events, you can use the idle function. This will wait for the events. This idle function will wait for the events. If no events are there, it will wait. When the event comes, it will event can be generated. Getting, guys? So glut idle functions, it will wait for the event. The name only suggests it will be idle. It will sit idle. It will wait for the events. Next, finally, you can use the following function to query the, for example, if you want to know about some parameters of the system, if you want to know some parameters about the system, how to do that means if you want to know some parameters about the system, you can use a command glut get set parameter. Glut get of set parameter. You can state parameter. So this is the parameter you are using, state parameter. So this is going to query about the parameters of a system. You can ask a question now. What are the system parameters you can query using this glut get? So for example, you can use if you want to know about the parameter window coordinate, window x coordinate of a window position, you can use this. See, glut window x, what it does, it obtains the x coordinate position of the top left corner of the current display window. This is one of the parameter, right? If you want to know the value of that parameter, if you want to know the x coordinate position of the for the top left corner of the display window, you can use this glut window x inside this glut get, then it will display the value for the particular x coordinate position of a display window. So it's not only that, you can use glut window width or glut screen width. It will retrieve the width value will be there, right? 200, 300, whatever it may be, that width value will be retrieved. You can use this glut window width inside this, within this glut get, it will get that value 200 or 300, anything for that matter. So that value will be displayed here. Window width value will be displayed here. So you can see the values, whatever the values you have used, system parameter values you have used using this function. Right guys, so hope you understood the concepts. So if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.